Hi guys, so welcome to the video. Here we are with the most expected one, IBS paper strategy. Fine. Here we are going to take some points, okay? So which is required you to replicate in the exams. Fine. Now we'll start with the first 15 minutes in your exam hall. Fine. So what you have to do? Smart paper attempt strategy. This is before you start writing. Start with the case study you feel most comfortable, because don't go by in the order of 1 2 3. No, not required. Choose your case study which you are very much comfortable, right? When you are studying the case study, try to identify the familiar subjects, okay? And then you just actively map the questions related to the topic. Say for example, if it is a DT case study, take the DT case study if you are good at DT, and make sure which concept it belongs to. So if it belongs to DTAA, just mark, okay, it is a DTAA question in the question paper itself. Make a mark. Fine. Then read the questions first. So instead of reading the case study, please read your questions, okay? So read the question first, then identify the topic instead of reading the full case study. If you sit and read the entire case study in the first 15 minutes, it will be the worst decision, okay? So I would recommend you to study the questions first. Read the questions, just make your mindset whether you can attend this question or not. If the question requires you to study the case study, then you can study the case study when you attend the questions, okay? When you write your paper, when you start writing, at that time you can study the case study. But in the first 15 minutes, I don't want you to study the case study entirely, okay? Because you want to wisely choose which case study you want to attend, okay? Now focus on locating the relevant portion rather than understanding the entire case, okay? Next is prefer the case study from FR, AFM, DT, IDT, because see, audit is also included here. You can choose from these 5 areas if you are already preparing for both groups. You will have a grip over the subjects. If you are good at law and costing, if you have spent at least a day for revising it, if you have confidence, then definitely go for law or costing. But if you don't have a grip over law or costing, it is better to attend the areas from FR, AFM, DT and IDT. Fine. Audit is a theoretical area. If you are good at those, please attend it, right? So you have to analyze your strength and weakness. Accordingly, you have to plan your case study. Then avoid sequential reading, jump directly to the relevant sections. So this is also something which I explained. Now, the very important area, question understanding and approach. See, first of all, when you read a case study, try to understand the question. Okay, try to understand what they have asked for. If they ask you to advise, please advise what you have to do. Evaluate, then evaluate. Recommend, you have to recommend something. Do this, do that. This is not correct. This is correct. You have to do like that. So structure your answer correctly. First one. Next, so they will give a mark for this, okay? At least 1 or 2 marks will be allocated for this part, right? Attempt the easier descriptive question first within a case study. So if you are reading an entire case study, okay, if you don't know the answers, relevant answer, at least choose those direct questions. If there is a direct questions, choose those questions and write those questions first instead of leaving the case study, okay? If you are in that situation, and if you stuck for 2 to 3 minutes, then skip that question. Don't sit in the single question, okay? Because you have lot of case study, you have to answer 4 case studies, right? So if you are lagging on one single question, then it will cost you a paper, okay? So stay calm even if the case looks unfamiliar. Questions are usually from the known concepts that we know, but if it looks like unfamiliar or tricky, then take time, okay? Stay calm, then only you can answer the question. So these are the points you have to remember when you are studying the question, when you are understanding what to write, what you should avoid and all, okay, in your exam hall. Now Answer writing techniques. How you can present your answer, how you can write your answers, right? See, when you are writing an answer, you're going to see your book and write the answer. When you are just seeing your textbook and writing the same as it in the textbook, then you will not get the marks. What they expect is you have to write the context from the textbook, but finally you have to link the theory clearly with the case facts, right? So whatever they have given in the case study, you have to link it with the case. So that is the main point you have to do in the exam. So this is a linking with the theory, case study linking with theory. Okay, ensure the relevance to the case while answering. So these are the 3 points very much important. Now you can structure your answer like this. If it is a case study and analysis, see concept, what is the concept you have studied or you have copied from your book, and what is a case study, okay, how it is relevant to this. That is your application part, and conclusion, whether he has done correctly, not correctly, what we have to do, is there any, see if it is a professional ethics, whether he is guilty, not guilty, we will write like that, right? So the same way you have to do here, concept, application, conclusion. You can incorporate this in any of your questions if it is required, right? Then always conclude with a clear recommendation. If they ask for recommendation, advice, evaluate, you just check your question properly. Then you have to always conclude properly. Headings and subheadings. See, when you are seeing and writing your, when you are seeing your book and writing, right? You keep on writing like a paragraph. That won't work. Okay, so don't keep on writing as a paragraph. Instead, use some headings, subheadings, use the bullet points, right? And underline your provisions, important areas, keywords. Kindly underline everything, right? See here, provision concepts, and then write in bullet points instead of long paragraphs. So these are the small changes you can incorporate while you are writing. See, I'm just insisting this point. You will remember these points in the other paper, but in IBS paper you will definitely forget these points, and you will keep on writing as a paragraph as you are seeing your book and writing. Okay, so I just want you to keep these points in mind. Your presentation definitely matters in IBS also, right? Next, time management and exam discipline, right? So here, this is super important point for to crack your IBS paper, right? See, time allocation beforehand. You have to decide how much time required for this case study, how much time I'm going to give for case study. So for every 20-25 minutes you have to track it, how it is going, whether I'm on a good track, okay, whether how much questions are remaining in a case study. You have to do that tracking every 20 to 25 minutes. Don't waste time in tracking, but it's just a glance, okay, what is pending, how fast I should write, okay. Prioritize completing all the answer over perfecting one. Very very important, right? So you all know this, but what you do in your exam is you are focusing on your perfections, okay. Don't go for perfection in the IBS paper. I just want you to write all the question, all the case study, try to write it, okay. Some way or the other, try to solve all the questions properly, okay. Properly in the sense, at least not perfectly, but at least to some extent possible, try to write all the questions. Don't leave any question. Fine. Here, treat each case study as a fixed time block. So if you want to give 1 hour for case study, give 1 hour for one case study, and be very specific. It should not exceed 1 hour, and you can keep it as a 50 minutes, 45 minutes. It's up to you. Okay, you fix a time for your case study. If you want to just run through the case study again, then keep it as a 45 minutes. Then for 15 minutes you can revisit the case study, whether you have written properly, etc., etc. That is up to you. Okay, so make sure you are allocating a perfect time for each case studies. Avoid overspend timing on one case study, maintain the balance. So this is what I have discussed over the last point. So prioritizing all the answers, writing all the answer is very much important. Now, As we discussed, okay, case study selection. See, decide which case studies to attempt only once, because these are the confusions people often face. So while writing, you will decide, no, no, I'm not good at this one. Okay, we'll strike it off. We'll go to the other case study. Please don't do that while writing the exams. Okay, choose based on your comfort and familiarity, and do not reconsider your selection later. So after start writing your exams, please don't go and change the case study. So be very specific, because you're wasting time on that. Then it will lead to confusion. So the first 15 minutes you have to decide which case study I should write. I should not change it later. So whether I'm comfortable, whether I can answer all the question, is it possible? You have to analyze everything in that 15 minutes. Fine. So don't re-evaluate your choices, avoid wasting your time. Now, MCQ and practical questions handling. So obviously you have to use your elimination technique in MCQs if you don't know the correct answers, and attempt the practical question using your own understanding first. So this is something you have to remember. Instead of going for the textbook answer, first try to understand the question what they have asked for. Analyze whether you can answer the question on your own, whether you have the knowledge, whether you can recollect the points. If you cannot recollect, then just go and see the concepts alone. Okay, you just see the concepts and apply your own thought process over there, right? So if exact answers are not possible, write a logical working notes, no problem. You just write a logical notes. If you cannot give an exact perfect answer, at least do the logical working notes. Write as much as possible instead of just copying the textbook. If it is not relevant, don't just copy from the textbook. For the sake of writing, don't write anything. So if you don't know, then you just read the paragraph in your book from your textbook study material. Just read it, what are the points relevant. Then you try to apply practically over here and try to answer it. Okay, it is not possible to do for all the questions. Okay, sitting and solving in the exam hall is not possible, but these are the points you can remember. So if you have time, you can do this to some questions. Okay, now preparation and exam readiness. So what you have to do, you have to revise formats. Like, this is a okay, ratios not required. So if there is some rules, guidelines, whichever, you have to revise it, formulas. Okay, and practice locating the provisions quickly in the study material. So what is it? Don't sit and write many marks for IBS. Okay, instead of writing many marks for IBS, I just want you to choose one question per day. Okay, one question per day. Just choose one question per day. Go and search in your study material. Try to search it. Okay, try to practice whether you can write the questions. Okay, whether you can answer the question, how much time you are requiring. Okay, how much time you require to find the answer, how much time you require to write the answer. Okay, so you just try to track on those areas. At least 1 hour per day you can spend on these areas to get an insight in IBS and to practice on IBS. If you feel like you're less prepared in IBS and all. Okay, so focus on writing practice, not just reading. Writing is very much important, because here you are going to write for 4 hours. Okay, so 4 hours writing is not easy unless you practice daily. Okay, now the presentation and mindset. Maintain clear handwriting, proper spacing. See, clear handwriting doesn't mean a perfect super handwriting. No, clear means your word should be legible. Don't just scribble and go. Okay, so it should be clear, and proper spacing should be given, right? And the main point here, okay, don't see others in the examination hall. Okay, don't see others. So avoid comparing your progress with others, what he is doing, what she is doing. No, don't do that. Okay, if you start writing your paper, you should not see until you complete your paper. Okay, anyone, don't see anyone, because it will subconsciously, it will deviate you. So please don't do that. Okay, stay confident. Mindset affects the speeds and accuracy. Okay, so please Please stay confident. Even if you do know a case study, if it is very much new to you, then also you calmly try to answer the case studies. Okay. Now, for costing, that is SMP and law, I want you to spend at least one day. If you're going to attend from those areas, if you are planning, if you are good at costing and law, and if you want to attend from those areas, revise at least for one day. Break into two parts, okay? And at least one day you have to revise SMP and law, okay? Just revise how to see the provisions, where are the provisions, how can I identify which area it belongs to. So all these area you can practice, right? So, and at least one mock is very much important for IBS. Sit and write at least one mock for 4 hours, the same hours, 2 to 6, you just sit and write, okay? Because it will give you the impact as you are writing in your exams. It will give you the confidence. So please sit and write at least one mock, okay? Fine, guys. So these are the areas I want to cover in the IBS preparation. Of course, this video is lengthy, I know, but whatever the points I have given in the IBS preparation strategy and presentation strategy, okay? This is very much important. Incorporate all the points whichever I have told you, okay, and write your mock. Then see how it is, whether it is helping you or not, and kindly comment below whether it is useful or not, so that I can plan accordingly and I can give other videos and all. Okay, so thank you guys, keep supporting and keep consistently reading. Okay, and please be hydrated. Summer is coming up, please be hydrated, take care of yourself. Okay, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.